Perhaps you'd state the reason why you support this legislation so full-throatedly.
Well, thank you for having me on. First, I think it's a common sense approach where every state can have whatever kind of health care program they want to have. If you're a liberal state, you could have a more liberal approach. If you're a conservative state like Utah, we can have an approach that's more conservative, and everything in between. Block granting the money to the states is probably the way to find the proverbial win-win.
And yet, Utah State Senator Mike Lee may now follow Ted Cruz, according to Ted Cruz, in not supporting this version of the legislation.
Well, I think there's some issues out there that need to be fine-tuned, but I've talked to Senator Lee. He's certainly looking to find a way to get to yes. I think we need to have an opportunity here to, in fact, have health care reform. The status quo is not acceptable. It's not sustainable. And this is a way to empower the states to be innovative and creative and find better ways to spend the taxpayers' dollars and get lower cost, better health care outcomes.
So you might be confident that Utah will do the right thing about its citizens, but what makes you so confident that every state will do the right thing?
I trust the governors. I trust the state legislators. They're closest to the people. Nobody cares more about Utahns than the Utah governor and the Utah legislature. I would say the same thing about other states. Nobody cares more about Californians than Governor Jerry Brown. Nobody cares more about Coloradans than Governor John Hickenlooper. Both Democrats who would like to have the flexibility to address their own unique demographics, their own unique cultures, and their own unique politics.
Some analysis says that these block grants, could reduce federal healthcare funding, particularly impacting low-income Americans. What would you do to ensure that doesn't happen, or that, what would you do to tell us that that's not justifiable?
Well, states will actually be able to do more with less. When I put together a budget, my local government people come to me and say, I'll exchange $1 of federal money for 85 cents of state money. The red tape, the redundancy in the system is expensive. We're better off not taking money from the state of Utah, giving it to Washington, and then getting it back. We're better off spending it at home. We can actually, in fact, I think, improve health care outcomes and spend less of the taxpayers' dollars. That being said, no state should be advantaged and no state should be disadvantaged, which is what's happening currently under the Obamacare plan.